Welcome back, folks. Well, today we got another project we're starting. We're back to Oldsmobile land. So we're back to another rocket build for our friend Kevin Ruby's 1965 442, Olds 442. So he has quite a collection of really nice Oldsmobiles. And he sent us his original numbers matching 400 to his 65 Oldsmobile. Now this is the early 400, and this is probably my favorite 400 because this has the large bore short stroke combination juxtaposed to the, I think it's 67 and later small bore long stroke design. So let me show you what we got. So the early 400s, like Kevin's, has a 4-inch bore, which is really nice. A 4-inch bore, you know, guys, like with the small block Chevys with the 400s, that was the engine a lot of people like to use for circle track racing because it lended itself well to all your performance mods. Anytime you've got a really larger bore to take advantage of your cylinder head flow, the better. My opinion, if you can run one of these and you can find the cam that you're going to need, and we'll get to that second, this is really a good combination. Now, here's the difference on the early 400s, the 65s and 66s, I believe, and I believe the Olds 425. The cam runs, they consider it somewhat of an odd, it runs a 45-degree bank angle. So the camshaft has to be ground for this particular angle that the lifters are set at. There are some folks out there that I believe can grind this. I know Bullet can grind a cam for this. There's some other places that can grind a cam for this. I'll have to talk to my friend Rodney Bird. He may have an early 400 camshaft for this. Rodney has a lot of camshafts, and my friend Just Mopar Joe uses him on a lot of his Mopar stuff. So I'm gonna reach out to Rodney and see if he has a cam for an early 65 400 442 and maybe discuss something if he does have one available. But I digress. So what we've got, this is somewhat unusual. So the 65 400 had a stock compression ratio of 10.25 to 1. Now, Kevin sent in his old rods and pistons, and again, it's a stock bore. Now, here's the stock pistons. You can see it was just a flat top. Now, we know with pump gas and iron heads, it's really hard to get away with something at 10 and higher compression. At 10 to 1 higher compression. You can do it obviously with cam selection and everything. I'm not saying you can't. People do it all the time, but you gotta remember, this is for a stock style build. He's probably got power brakes and everything else. So this, he sent us a set of brand new 350 Olds forged pistons. Now, I measured and it looks like they've got the same compression height as the factory flat tops. However, they do have a dish. I'm hoping this dish, I haven't measured the cc's in this piston yet, but I'll have my machine shop go in and measure how many cc's we've got in this dish. I'm thinking this dish is probably going to take us back down around 9.5 to 1, but we're going to measure to make sure, obviously. I don't know how far up in the hole these pistons are going to come with these rods, but we're going to measure. Now, these rods, obviously, everything's going to get vatted and cleaned up. These rods will get resized at the machine shop. They'll get, once they've been resized and reconditioned, they'll get reinstalled onto these new 350 Olds pistons. So I think we have a really good foundation here. Now, I've done a lot of 455 Oldsmobiles. My friend Joe Cardinal just texted me last night. His 1970 442. That thing's still rip snoring and kicking ass, man. So I know a lot of people in the Oldsmobile community, and they're great folks, and I like building them. So these are A-heads. Now the A-heads came out on the 400s, obviously. I don't know about the flow compared to, like, most of the time I build an Oldsmobile engine, I usually prefer the C heads. And of course, everybody knows in the Oldsmobile community, the D heads are the only ones I believe that came on the Hurst Olds. My friend Scott Ehringer has one. It has the D heads. Now, if you look over here on Oldsmobiles, for those that aren't familiar, you see this letter right here? So you've got an A head, I'm assuming a B, and then of course I'm mostly familiar with the C heads and the D heads, which were exclusive to the 69 Hurst Olds. And then there is an F head. Well, my Oldsmobile friends, you guys tell me what your choice is on those heads, but I think Oldsmobile heads probably flow pretty good. I mean, they got decent sized, windows into the for your inlet ports, for the intake ports. The exhaust, I think Oldsmobile actually has, now my friend Larry may correct me about Pontiacs, but I think I've been told that these may have a better exhaust port than a Pontiac, but I'm not sure. My Olds and Pontiac friends, they may argue, and I'm sure I'll get corrected, but regardless, I think they both have good cylinder heads. Now, if you look, these are, I believe, your 208 intakes. We're going to have hardened valve seats put in. When they cast these things, there were no valve seats. I think they were just, they're cast the way they are. So we're going to improve the flow just by doing a valve job and installing valve seats alone. Our machine shop, Hunt Machine, over here in Fort Smith, Arkansas, super good. And we're probably going to go ahead and talk to Eddie, and it's up to Kevin if he wants to go to, I believe you can go to a 211 intake valve. I know on the C heads, whenever I do Oldsmobiles, I usually try to go from a 208 to a 211 intake. And again, when you go and put the valve seats in and the machine shop goes to, say, a really nice 5-angle valve job, even 3-angle valve job, it just improves the flow. So another thing is, we're going to talk about, I noticed, so any of my Oldsmobile friends, you guys let me know, I can't remember, but I was looking at the main cap bolts, and I noticed, and it must be for a certain reason, I'm sure, but you can see these casts, these bolts with these markings, but you've also got a few of the head bolts with the O in the middle. You guys tell me what that is. Tell me why do I have that? And I know Kevin didn't mix and match things. He kept it all together. This wasn't, just throw some bolts at it. But I've wondered, why is that? You guys tell me. I know there's a purpose for that, but I digress. Really good. It's a really good foundation. And again, I've had really good luck with Oldsmobile engines. Again, this is a cruiser. It's not a drag car. It's not even a resto mod. It's more of a stock build. Kevin does have another 65 442, and it's a 4-speed car. And I think we're going to get a little more rowdy with that one. It's going to be a really, really cool car. Both these cars, I love the body styles of these 65s. I don't know why they seem to be overlooked. You don't see many of them, but man, when they're dressed up, they kind of remind me of the 63 and 64 Dodge and Plymouth Super Stockers. They have that real clean, good-looking lines that are they're really sharp, good-looking cars, man. So yeah, this Oldsmobile is going to be another fun build. You're going to see it go along. Once we get it to the machine shop, we get everything cleaned up, and of course we'll discuss everything with our machinist, what he thinks we need to do as far as, what direction on the heads. Of course, I'll be talking to Kevin. We still need a lot of things like push rods, timing chains, oil pumps, oil pump adapter, oil filter adapter. A lot of things we need, but this is really cool. This is one of the early 400s, Oldsmobile 400s that I like. It has the big bore, short stroke. To me, if I wanted to really have fun with this engine, and especially in his 4-speed car that we'll probably be doing that engine, I would like to take advantage of the head flow, and if we were going to use the factory heads, let's do a good bowl port on them. Obviously go to a 211 intake on it, and maybe a really nice cam. I like solids, but I don't think Kevin's going to go to a solid. But hey, we go to a really nice, aggressive hydraulic cam setup to make these things twist. And with a 4-speed, I think you'd have a lot of fun in one of these. So he's got 2 more engines coming up this way. He didn't want to inundate us with too many engines. He has this 1970 455 W30 coming up here. I've done a lot of those. Fantastic engines. So anyway, for all my Oldsmobile folks, you're going to enjoy this build. We're really looking forward to it and coming along and just getting everything built. So thanks everybody. Hope everybody has a good Sunday.